Okay, I think I'm live. Hello, hello, welcome. We are here for another episode. I'm coordinating on two devices here, so I get a little sidetrack in what I'm saying. Anyways, welcome back. It's summer. It's summer here. It like literally overnight, boom, it hit. The humidity came in, the heaviness. So wherever you are in the world, um, hope you're having a good day, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. And we'll get started. So, just kind of coming into your breath and taking a couple nice deep breaths in, allowing yourself to just exhale and let it all out. Are you holding it at the top for a little bit? And then just releasing through your mouth, letting yourself just kind of settle in, settle down, letting yourself, feel yourself just kind of come down, come down into your being. We start running around, we get busy with stuff, kind of tend to pull up here because we're thinking, oh, got this, got that, got to do, and da da da. And we're all up here and moving around real quickly. And then it's about coming down and resting back into our bodies. Settle into your environment. Allowing yourself, hi, Asta. I like to see if you're on the other side. If some people don't just like to sit back, and that's fine too. But if you're up there, it's always nice to know who's out there. So if you're on YouTube or Facebook, just wave and say hi in the chat. So settling in, just allowing yourself to settle into your environment. So letting just everything dropping down, relaxing down. It's like after you've had a long day or long maybe trip back home, and you get home, you put all the suitcase, and then you just pop down on the bed or on the sofa, and you just kind of poof. So kind of letting yourself do that. Plump yourself down wherever you are, in your chair, in your seat, in your sofa, on your bed, allowing yourself to just slow everything down, slow your mind down, slow your breathing down. Taking a deep breath in, really feeling the breath, as you take that deep breath, just feeling yourself pulling that energy all the way up through your body, and then releasing all the old stuff, all the all the old stuff out. Releasing everything that's not present moment, everything that came before now, just taking a deep breath into it, gathering all of that was happened before this very moment, holding your breath at the top, really focused on all that stuff that came up before right now as you're holding your breath, and then on the exhale, just letting it all out with your breath. And then I'm going to adjust this a little bit, and then coming into your body even more. Let's just kind of run through the body here. Help us settle in a little bit further into this moment. Let's see. Let's start with the toes. Noticing your toes. Noticing all the toes that you have. And interestingly, so what's coming to mind is, maybe an amputee or somebody who's lost some toes in an accident or something. So it's like, well, I don't have those toes there. At the energetic level, they're still there, actually. So there's the physical body that's maybe been cut, but cut off for whatever reason, or severed or whatever. But energetically, that's still there, and so that's why people get like phantom symptoms, because they're actually feeling that area at the energetic level. So just that came up to say for anybody out there who might be jumping in later or is on the background there with that situation, whether it's, or it could be fingers too, any body part really. So you're not going crazy. In other words, phantom symptoms they call it because it's not physical. So feeling your heels and maybe noticing the bone that kind of sticks out on either side of your foot. I don't know, that's probably got a special name, but on either side of your above your heel, by your ankle, and just slowly move you excuse me, move your awareness up your legs. Noticing the skin of your lower legs as you move up, like you're just brushing that, you're just kind of touching that with your awareness up to your knees and noticing your kneecaps. And maybe noticing the joint under the kneecap. And there's the thigh bone, which is just one bone, and then two bones below in the lower leg that join up there that have to coordinate. And the bending of the leg there. And then letting your awareness slide up on your skin, your thighs, up to your hips. And just notice what that feels like to just have your awareness just run over your skin like that. Being really aware of that feeling, and maybe you've got clothes on that you can feel against your skin. Seeing if you can separate out between the material and your skin. And your hips, your lower torso. I kind of do the sides, the front, the underneath, the back, and feel all that. It's like this little cup that holds the body. That's kind of that sitting, that seat area for the physical body. And the internal organs that are sitting in that are kind of being held in place by that skeletal seat. There's the reproductive organs. Of course, for women, it's very internal, very much in that seat. There's the bladder. There's part of the digestive intestinal tract. So see if you can get a sense of all that in there. And bringing your awareness, we're going to, just as you bring your awareness, that helps to actually clear out energetically those areas, energy, frequency, whatever you want to call it. And feel your awareness. You can do this with your breath too, just kind of like as you breathe in, like pulling that energy up through your body into that area. There's a lot of fascia in that area too. And we tend to carry a lot of stress, emotional and mental stress in the lower abdomen. And there are people who actually, there are special techniques for massaging the fascia to release out that tension. And it's very nice to have that done. And with each breath, pulling that frequencies, those energies up into that area, filling up that area and just clearing it out of any stress or tension, filling up that intestinal tract. So let's kind of focus in on the intestinal tract. So that's more than just the lower abdomen. That's all the way up to your ribs, to the bottom, to below your ribs. So with each breath, just allowing yourself to pull up. I'm just grounding people a little bit more there. As you do that, you can just keep focusing on that. And I'll just anchor the group in a little bit more. There we go. And yeah, so every time you're pulling from the core of the earth, those fresh frequencies into that whole intestinal tract, into that whole abdominal cavity. So focusing a little bit more on the intestinal tract, but there's also kind of at the waist level, there's on the backside, there's the kidneys and the adrenals. There's a little bit of the liver that starts to kind of overlap at the top there under the right side of the ribs. And then pancreas on the other side. With each breath, just feeling that getting lightening up. There's quite a bit there that's coming through for people. So kind of just doing a nice cleansing, energetic cleansing here. Liver, ooh, got a lot of gunk in the liver there for the group. Some of you a little bit more than others. Anger gets associated a lot with the liver, but there can be other factors there. Just a lot of repressed mental expression can get packed up in the liver without getting into all the physical level. So your liver processes a lot of stuff. So any toxin backup, things like heavy metals, you get all sorts of things like parasites, worms, I don't know, all sorts of things that kind of pull up in that whole area. So let's focusing on the liver. Liver is sort of like this rectangular shaped. So with following the ribs and then the top and then the side of your abdomen, but right under those lower ribs, under the ribs that are before it gets to the sternum there. So just putting your awareness on that side. Yeah. Working on just kind of this more superficial level, because this is kind of group and we're kind of just moving through this, and this is a more general session, but it's always good to just kind of get that cleared out for ourselves. So again, with your breath, just pulling those frequencies. Hello, Schaefer. Welcome. And we're just kind of doing a general cleaning out energetically. So pulling up, I'll just get you a little bit more grounded there. Pulling up with your breath, just pulling up those frequencies, that energy from the core of the earth. And if you aren't, since I don't know you, I don't know what if that makes any sense to you or not. So if it does, great. But for anybody who happens to be watching and isn't clear on that, just with your breath, just imagine you're pulling through fresh energy through your legs and up into your body. And we're actually up up at the liver, which is on the right side, lower. Can't see it, right behind, right below your ribs before they attach the sternum. So coming into that area, and it's sort of like with your breath, just imagine bringing that fresh energy through the breath into your liver. And on the exhale, just exhaling, just feeling like you're just exhaling out all any what do I want to say? uh, Anything that needs to be cleaned out, at the frequency energetic level, and just kind of seeing it just disperse. It's going through your energetic system, so it doesn't have to go through, you know, the whole physical system to release, though it can have an impact that way and have you actually release through the physical system when you do a deep clearing like that with just pulling the energy through. Really breathing into that liver, just kind of giving it that awareness, refreshing it, cleaning out. Just kind of not getting into the details today, but just kind of shifting out some stuff that I see. Part of what I'm seeing is just kind of this rigidity in terms of way that people are holding. Generally speaking, the group is holding themselves. So having had to be really rigid in terms of and hold themselves very distinctly, not having a lot of freedom of expression or freedom of movement or just to get by on, when you were younger. Kind of that survival piece, to be safe. So let's move into the other side. So on the other side of the liver, so this is going to be on your left side under those lower ribs, the pancreas. At a lower level, and what I mean by lower level, at an energetic level that's closer to the physical body, you can look at the pancreas, and it's about processing sweets, processing sugar, be able and digesting. Um, it's a component of the digestive system. So when you have problems with that, one of the questions to ponder is like, well, do I have a hard time taking in, assimilating the sweetness of life, what's enjoyable in life? Um, so same thing, just pulling in with your breath, just pulling in fresh frequencies, holding it in there a little bit, and then on the out breath, just releasing out the old stuff, like all the energetic dust and dirt that no longer needs to be in there. Yeah, clearing out. That's actually helping clear out that solar plexus area for people. Okay, yeah, very nice. And so something you can come back to afterwards, or you can stay there as I move the group into another area. But coming into the lungs, our lungs taking a lot. From I remember somebody I had a healing session with a long time ago. This might be at least 25 years, 30 years ago. And she made a comment, and wow, it really just all of a sudden it anchored into my mind what we breathe in. We have a closed system on Earth, and we don't really think about it but we kind of know it. There's the atmosphere, and then above that, once you go through the atmosphere, it's like, well, there's no oxygen like there is here. But you don't really think about it, what that means. And what that means is that we're in a closed system, we're in a bubble. And every plane that flies overhead, anywhere in the world, you are breathing it in. There's just no way around that. It doesn't dissipate, it just is in the system. And so there is a mechanism for, in nature with the air, the trees taking carbon, I want to say carbon dioxide, and then putting out oxygen, and then we they take in the oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide. So there is kind of that piece, but to what point can we have maintain that balance? We put more stuff into the air and less forest. Less forest, and actually the ocean does a lot of that for us. So one of the questions that has been kind of put out there is, why do we want to block carbon dioxide? Because there is talk out there about, that would solve the problems, all the pollution and all this. It's like we got to cut out the carbon dioxide. Let's think about that for a minute, because the trees actually, there is that system of taking that through in the natural world, in nature, and converting that into oxygen. So there's a little bit of some faultiness in that argument. Maybe not totally incorrect, but something to consider and think about. So feeling those lungs, and with each breath, again, expanding and feeling them expand in all directions. Filling up with that refreshed energy. If for people who have anxiety and stress, usually probably you'll notice your breath is a little bit more the upper chest, very shallow breath, because there's so much tightness and holding, and kind of comes up with what I was saying earlier, just that rigidity of holding yourself in place. You can't really fully breathe because your breath, you can't see me. Your breath, and I'll just stand up a little bit, but your breath has to come from down here, from your lower ribs. It expands and fills up the ribs and then collapses down. But when you're tight down there, when you're only breathing from up here, you're really not fully oxygenating your system. So in stress or anxiety. So if you're noticing that, it's like, okay, my breath is not really deep. What you can do is just put your hands your lower ribs, over your lower ribs. Bring your awareness down into those hands, and those and your awareness down there, and let yourself sink down. So you don't have to take a huge big breath, break out of that, but with each breath, breathe against the hands, like push. Imagine yourself pushing with your breath against the lower ribs and against your hands to push them out as best as you can, and then just exhale. And then with the next breath, just try to do it a little further, and then exhale, and then a little further. But it's helpful also to just kind of focusing on pushing your hands away from your body through the breath. And also on the back side too, so you can kind of hold your lower ribs, your thumbs on the back side, and your fingers on the front, and focusing on your thumbs, just pushing against those thumbs as you breathe to really deepen that breath. Some of you have a lot of anger in your environment, or you have grown up with a lot of anger in your environment and you're still carrying it. And actually, it's kind of both are the same thing, because if you have something in your environment, that means you have this propensity to be in it. And that usually comes from past lives or early in your childhood. So there's just a heavy layer of anger around the group here today. So just settling more into yourself. Keep focusing on your breath and breathing in as I shift that for you. At least create a little bit of distance so you can have more of a sense of it. Would take a little bit more, probably could shift it to some extent, but I also would take more specific work to really shift that for you, because it's about looking at those underlying patterns of why you have that and shifting that. But certainly it can create more space for you around that, so it doesn't feel so oppressive, and you can become more aware of that being around you. And then when we're conscious about something, then we can make a choice. It's like, well, I really don't enjoy having this, so let's shift this. What do I need to let go of? What do I need to shift to kind of clear that up for myself? So I can move into a fuller expression of myself and have a fuller expression in life, and bring more of who I am into life instead of holding that back. Now that's bringing up, wow, that's bringing up just some emotional release there. So that's good. Just some really uh, almost like deep grieving from just this realization of where you have been, whoever that is on the call here. And actually, that's kind of the slower, having all of that anger around, so it gets you to focus on that anger instead of focusing on what you were really feeling, um, and the sadness and grief that you were really feeling. So that was kind of a way of surviving, just to hold on to that, just to focus on that, so you don't really feel what's going on, because you feel like if you had gone into that maybe at that time, maybe it would have just stopped you in your tracks, and would have been more dysfunctional. So holding on to that anger was a way to just kind of like, get me out of here. Just let me focus on that so I can use that to just get me moving forward and get me out. But now, stepping into that place of just releasing, stepping back from that and feeling that grief, and so acknowledging that for yourself, where what was really inside of you, uh, and how you really felt in that experience. Let's move into the neck now. Neck always can use more attention. That's one of those areas for most people. So much comes into that whole area, um, with control. Even with stress, we get really pulled up. If you're breathing, if your breath is only going down here, then you're more up here than you are in your body. And so this is also, gets gets kind of cramped in there. It's also kind of gets stuck between what's in the heart and what's in the head, and pulled out of alignment with that. So really just, and feel free to put your hands around your neck and just feel that. Feel your neck. Be present with yourself and your neck. And it's like, okay, yeah. Ooh. And acknowledge if you've had any difficulty being able to express yourself in any way. Just to acknowledge that, with anyone, just to acknowledge that and say, it's, yeah, I recognize that. I see that for myself. And just being present with it. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to try to heal it. You just acknowledging that it's there is huge. It's huge. That's the most important healing piece that you can do for yourself, is just being present with what is and just allowing it to just release, relax, open up, release and be expressed, be acknowledged. Yeah, still that anger piece is still kind of it's yeah, this is actually not really anger, but there's anger mixed into it, but this is more about domination, having been dominated by somebody, like it could be a family member, um, who was maybe very controlling or very kind of uh, uh, domineering, uh, regimented, uh, get like military kids. I've seen that with military kids, for example, who have like maybe the father's in the military, just like very disciplined, rah, 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 like that with the kids. And, you have with some kids, it just goes right over the head because they don't have a deeper level of sensitivity. That's just the way they are. And some people are extremely sensitive to their environment. And that is that can be very hard on those kids because they can't just say, oh yeah, whatever. They just feel it so much, so intensely, um, that it makes them want to just pull inside and just hide. Mm. So just kind of releasing that. It could be a father, it could have been a mother, it could have been grandparent, uncle, it doesn't matter. Somebody who was around, maybe even a teacher, you know. If it hits you hard enough in the moment, they can be very damaging. It could have happened just once, but it can be so damaging. Abuse isn't necessarily something that happens over and over and over and over again. It happens once and it just slams you and damages you for life until you can kind of shift out of that. And coming into our lightly, we're going to do this one very carefully because people get into their heads so much, but breathing in, bringing moving your awareness into your head. And what I want you to do here is really pull yourself inside your head. Feel yourself as if you're looking around you from inside your head. Kind of like those on in nature preserves. They've got those little watch houses where they've just got that little opening. You can watch the birds and stuff very quietly from inside, and kind of one of those. And you're just looking out the little windows there at life. As I clear out more of the headspace. And as you're in your headspace, feeling your headspace, breathing into that, also allow yourself to really become aware of your full body so that we are more balanced. It's better because we've been moving up through the body with our awareness. So that's kind of been a little bit more anchored, but just not pull all the way up there. Let yourself kind of feel your body as you are really breathing into the headspace. Yeah. And then just allow yourself. So take a deep breath in, hold it at the top of your breath, and hold it for a little bit as I'm talking. And then as you release, just slide your awareness down as you're releasing the breath, like you're taking the breath down your spine, all the way down through the back of your legs and all the way into your feet and out your feet. And you can do that 2 or 3 times, breathing into your head, holding it for a couple counts or so, and then on the exhale, just allowing the breath to just move your awareness down as you exhale, down your spine, down the back of your legs, and out your feet, the soles of your feet. Yeah. Yeah, good. Very nice. Just kind of a general clearing session today. Nice to have everybody. Schaefer, I think this is the first time I'm remembering you. So welcome, and whoever else is saying hi to everybody else out there. Uh, so if you're, we do this every week. Sorry, Wednesdays, once a week, and just providing that space for kind of coming into giving that moment to just chill and just be. Um, I also have other um, products out there and recordings, frequency recordings. So feel free to check that on my website and on for those on Instagram, just go to the link in my bio and that'll direct you to my website, different areas of my website. So feel free to check that out. So this is kind of a little general clearing. It's always nice to kind of get that little clearing going and just give yourself a quick little reset during the week. Any questions for people from people? It's a quiet bunch tonight. Sometimes we just have those Wednesdays where we just get on and it's just more the quiet, more kind of the laid back, and that's good. Every session is different. Every time it's very different. Asta says, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, Asta. Work on that throat. That's a good one for you. All right, everybody's in a quiet mood, so we'll just kind of call it a day. Hope you're enjoying wherever you are. We've got these long nights now, so it kind of makes it hard to go to bed early on time, but because it's bright out till 10 o'clock at night. Those long summer nights. So it's always nice. Okay, well, we'll end here, and thanks everybody for stopping by. And if you're on Facebook, on YouTube, hit like, and if you want subscribe, then you can just have that reminder to join us whenever you want. It can be every week or whenever it feels right for you to come in. And it's like, okay, let's take some chill time and join in. So always nice to have people stop on by. All right, everybody. So take care and see you next time.